typically, a mind map works like this. You've got the situation and you say, okay, we've got this, this, and maybe these things. Let's say that we were trying to expand our services. We'd say, okay, we've got care, we've got communication, we've got process, and then we go out, okay, what are the elements of care? That's a normal mind map, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to do an inverse mind map. We're going to change the way that we do this, because really what we want is we want our black hole value proposition to be as far away from our categories of operational excellence, okay? We don't want to use any operational excellence key standard words to describe our black hole value proposition. This pen doesn't work very well.
Like none of the words that were in.
Let's go, yeah, we can go with that green. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave this blank. And everybody, do you guys have paper? Because you're going to be it's going to be your assignment to kind of focus on this. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to leave this blank because this is what we want to fill in. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out here, and we're going to come up with at least 4 major categories of just what we do. What do we deliver? So let me use, I'm going to use Cedar Valley as an example. Okay, so give me categories of main things that are really great deliverables. Things that you guys really do special. What are they?
Take care of our employees.
Okay. Okay, so employee care. Okay, as far as the perception of other people in the hospice community that you serve, what is it that you do really well? Okay, patient care.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this something you can only do as a hospice if you've been operating for a year, or is this something if you're opening a hospice you could do?
No, you could absolutely do it with these concepts as part of your game plan. Absolutely. Are you about to open a hospice, Jordan?
No, I was just thinking like...
You could. I'll invest it with you.
I was thinking if you wanted to start a business,
Okay.
you need to have the business already?
No.
Or build it to have those.
Yesterday you guys talked about what you do as a celebration of end of life. What was that?
Release and remember. Release and remember.
Okay.
That's cool. That's the butterflies, right?
Yeah.
That's like
Okay.
really cool.
So think in these categories of release and remember and patient care, employee care. What else? What else makes you really special?
Grief care.
Pardon me? Grief?
Yeah, grief services.
Grief services. Okay. Okay, what else? Anything that's a major category, something you do really well.
Care for people living with HIV.
Ah. HIV care, okay? All right, now, instead of branching out, let's go inward. Tell me about this right here. What are the components of the release and remember that make it possible? What are the things that not the blocking and tackling, but maybe more the descriptive words?
It's meaningful.
Yes, good word, meaningful. God, that's awesome, yes. What else?
Symbolic.
Symbolic, good. Good, Jordan, that's great. Meaningful, symbolic. What do the butterflies, how would you describe the butterflies? Majestic, awesome. What else? Give me another butterfly word.
Release.
Release.
Kind of transformative too, because they came from. Yeah.
Okay. What else?
I don't know what the word would be, but it brings people together, families. Like we have a whole family group that come together.
Connect, togetherness. What? Help me with the word that you really like, that really resonates. That's my word. That's the word I'm looking for. It's beautiful.
Michaela sent me like.
I think that word is just fantastic. So I love that word. Thank you. I also love symbolic and meaningful and majestic. These are fantastic words. So what we found here is these are words that help us to describe in non-hospice terms what it was that we were doing there. And we are not going to fill that box with any hospice words. We've lost if we do. We have to fill that box with non-hospice words, with customer-centric words, with things that are meaningful to the average person. That when we describe it, when we say this, then it gives us leverage to describe these things, and this is what we do about it. It's not a system first, it's a result first. Okay? All right, tell me about employee care. What about employee care makes you special?
Camaraderie.
Great. Camaraderie. Okay, what else? What makes you special?
Fun.
Good. Okay.
You guys are friends too. I mean, that's unique. You all go do stuff together.
We care. I don't know.
Care. Yeah.
I mean, it's just genuinely caring.
Genuinely care. I love that. I was thinking genuinely care. I was thinking about what does PDC do? They deeply care. Those were the two words that I thought. The only thing that really separates us from other people is that we deeply care. We care enough not to just process claims. So our competitors process claims. We deeply care. We don't have an answering machine. We answer the phone. We don't put up with baloney. We have really great people. We love the person no matter how different than they are of us. So, that's the kind of thing is that we care genuinely. Those are deep words. Okay, what about patient care? What is it about patient care that you believe is exceptional or different than others? Exceptional or different than others? Let's just go with
Well, I think
exceptional.
It starts with respect of all people.
I love that.
We genuinely care.
Stop stealing my words.
No, it's okay. Okay, so we have respect. We have genuinely care.
It is true.
What else? What else do you, and this is not a time for humility. This is a time where we say, this is what we do. I'm passionate about this.
Probably at least 3 times. Right thing. I'm sorry, I'm going to interject.
Do the right
That-
thing.
Right thing.
That's an interesting,
The one that kind of goes between those two is we educate our staff in order for them to provide
Yes.
outstanding care.
Can we say we're educators? Or educators first? Yeah, I don't know. I just threw that in. But we're educators first. Wasn't this funny that she just said a second ago that she was told she can't be a teacher, and that's exactly what she does? Isn't that's beautiful. I love that. That was fantastic. Okay, patient care. What is it that we do exceptionally well?
Keep our promises.
I love keep our promises. Okay, I'm really kind of in love with that word right there. Promises. I don't know what we're going to do with that, but that's a good word. Okay, this HIV care that you talk about that makes you really special. Tell me about the emotional components of HIV care, not the operational components, the emotional components of it. Why did you do it? Why do you love it? Why is it different?
Removes barriers.
Well, they're facing barriers, and so I think the case managers, in our organization work hard to break down those barriers, to provide resources, to help them live with those things that Aaron spoke about, stigmas and stereotypes and all of those things that they're facing. So they provide more than just, financial things from the grant. They provide emotional support and connections, validate the people, and while not focusing on the illness, but validate the person.
Okay. For those that are watching, what was said is the staff helps break down barriers. They provide resources. They eliminate stereotypes. They have emotional support. They validate the people. I love this. This is such a great term. Validating the people. Okay, what do we have over here? Grief services. What is it about you? So I need to create circles in here, moving toward these, okay? But you guys know kind of the idea. So what about the grief services? What is it that you do beautifully, that you do well, that you're proud of? You go home and say, God, that was great. We did that really well.
Children's grief, like, or maybe like it's
Eucalyptus tree.
yeah,
Children's grief?
yeah. And I think it's open to anyone. Meeting people where they are, unrestricted.
Okay, meeting people where they are. Unrestricted.
Walking beside them, not telling them where to go.
Walking with or walking beside. Boy, that's the essence of empathy, isn't it? Okay. So here what we've done is we've not focused on the operating, blocking and tackling, but we've really focused on what are the things that the constituent population would experience. What is it that it's important to them? Okay? So now the idea is, how do we now, in very simple terms, describe in the best way we can all of these important, or many of these important descriptive terms into one very specific value proposition that is distinctive to you and simple. For those of you online, this is really a time to think about it and write these things down. You should be kind of going through this exercise together. And remember, what we're not trying to do is we're not trying to repeat things that are important to us that are not important to our constituents. Oh, they're important to the constituents, but that's not how they judge. That's not how they see hospice. They don't see hospice as operationally excellent. They don't really see the planning. That part of care is a really good hospice plans the care specifically for that patient. That's really great. Instead of showing up and saying, oh, well, let me assess the situation. There's always assessment and modification, but there's specific plans. There's a strategy for the care of that patient that makes people exceptional.
So like a
So
phrase,
what is
like-
this? Yes.
Like companioning you on your journey.
Accompanying.
Thank you.
Companioning.
You on your journey.
All right, we're gonna write that one down.
Thank
But
you.
it's not gonna do well on a billboard, right?
It's a new word.
Right.
Companioning
Yeah.
See, I like that.
can't
That's
be-
you
cool.
on
Companioning.
your journey. Okay. I love that as a very first starter point, because that's where we want to go, right? That's where we want to go. How many words is it? 5.
So how many words do you want?
Well, in a perfect world, I want 3 or 4. Okay? I would take 5 if they're easy and they flow beautifully.
We're with
Companioning
I
is-
wrote that one down here with you.
you. We're here. We're with you. Because
Companion on your
doesn't matter which one of those you're in.
Okay, I'm going to strike this just for a second because I need this space. Let's identify some keywords that are very important to the family members and the patient. Just, I'm going to take a different color.
Genuine.
Keywords,
Experts. Oh, you have on the sheet already.
experts. Okay?
Validation.
Pardon me?
Validation.
Validation. Validation of what?
You. Your needs. Respect.
needs, respect. Okay? Care, what? Promise? These are some great words.
Like promising genuine care.
Now, I want you to think about it this way. If you're a person driving down the highway, okay, and you're going to pop up and you get 3 seconds to look at a billboard. You can't read all this stuff. And Medicare benefit, that doesn't count. Nobody cares, okay? It has to be, and you're saying, what do I do for my loved one? Who do I trust? What is the message you want most to provide for them that really represents all the things that you do? It really signals what you are as an organization, what your heart is.
We did that in our mission statement with respect, compassion,
Care and making each moment matter is our tagline.
Yeah. So there was a comment for everybody here that we did this in the mission statement. So a mission statement is really an internal document that says this is what we believe in for this component of our company. So if you had a company that had 5 different things, you had hospice, you had home care, you had palliative care, and you had some acute care, you'd have a mission statement for each one of these pieces with a vision statement for all. Okay, so because there's a possibility that your mission statement might evolve or change as the mission changes or as the components change. So a mission statement is not what I'm looking for here. So when Perry says to me, as just an example, even more care, that's not a mission statement. But the mission statement might include items that describe our passion for even more care. One thing I'd like you to consider is I would like you to consider putting together, because of this, I would like you to consider putting together a black hole value proposition statement that is about the transition of life done in a magnificent or beautiful way.
Like beautiful
Keep life beautiful.
I'm sorry.
No, say it.
Like a, beautiful transition.
Yeah, so the thing that popped right out of my head, and I got to think about the exact wording the way I thought, was transitions in life done beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought. That was the first thing that came into my mind yesterday. When I was listening to you guys, and I was like, oh my God. Sorry about that. For those of you that are more religious, my mom would be like freaking. You did not just use a statement of whatever. And used to go, but this is what they care about. They care about the transition of life in a beautiful manner, not a horrible manner. So when I saw, I've known you guys for 5 or 6 years, right? And so you have beautiful spirits, you're beautiful people, you've got beautiful logos. And then when you ended with this magnificent butterfly, I thought, that's it. The word beautiful, life transition done beautifully. If I'm driving by your billboard and it says life transitions done beautifully, then I know that what you're trying to achieve, I'm going to write this down as an example.
Yes, literally.
What it says to me, and I'm not saying this has to be it, I'm saying this is the kind of thing, okay? But this is what's happening. It's a life transition. But it's done differently. It's done differently than what they expected. It's done beautifully. And when you say done beautifully, that's all encompassing. That's the hospice, that's the family, that's the patient experience. It's done beautifully. And that's part of the butterfly. And that's part of the celebration. It's absolutely part of the grief services, because this transition is part of the grief services. It is this part of this HIV, it's part of the patient care. This is very important here. So I like something like that. So when you say, when people get to know you, our black hole value proposition is we help people transition in life in a way that is beautiful. Okay, how do you do that? I'm glad you asked. We do that not through our mission statement but we do that through these things. This is the end result. Something like this.
How about would you go plural on the transitions, like life transitions?
Absolutely.
I mean, rather than transition, transitions.
Just life.
I love life done beautifully. I mean, I would be super happy about that.
Because
Less
transitions
words.
maybe
Yes.
don't cover employees as much.
It's a lot of hospice names too.
Yeah. A lot of transitions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Life doesn't even fit.
Well, and not to be morbid, but also life done beautifully. I wasn't trying. I
No,
know
that's
it's not
interesting.
morbid, but I didn't mean it morbidly. But it is ironically.
If you just put a period after life.
life done.
Life done.
Yeah. Life done beautifully.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
I put the period after life.
Life.
Yeah,
Life.
it's cool because most
Done
people wouldn't
beautifully.
associate that with hospice.
If we had more words, it'd be easier to say end of life done beautifully. But it's more than, that's a lot of, that's our peak of words.
But that's not everything. I mean, it doesn't stop just for what we do for the patient.
You know what? That's absolutely right. Because it's not over at end of life. That's a great point. Because if you're really doing a great job, you're still helping family members. You're still doing, grief and transitions and support. I mean, everybody else finishes with the writing a card. They write a card. So sorry. My condolences, but that's not our job.
And truth be told, all of those things have transition components. Even employee care, they transition every day. They grow. Their experiences on the job transition, their own personal selves.
Okay, you guys have homework. Can I erase this now? Good luck with my scribble. Okay. Fantastic. So, if that were to be the case, then the question is, what is your black hole value proposition? The black hole value proposition is we believe that we help people end life beautifully. This is what it is. What our value is, we just don't take them through hospice. We do it in a manner that's so beautiful, so celebratory, so peaceful, so loving, so respectful. It's a beautiful process. I mean, that's the idea. That's what I've heard in the discussions when I listen to you guys or when I hear what you're doing. It's the care one of the words that comes to my mind is it's beautiful. It's a celebration. Okay? So play with that. Get together. We can go sit. I mean, there's wine coming soon.
Oh, yeah.
That's always a great stimulator. Yeah. Okay. Hey, how about PDC?
Never
Are you-
business, always personal.
Pardon me?
Never business, always personal.
That's
That's our unofficial black hole proposition.
that is really it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love it, but
Never business.
I had that conversation. So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, PDC really has a true value proposition. But what we've never done a really good job of is really taking all the unique pieces of the value proposition and boiling it down to something that everybody can really rally behind. So one of the challenges, if I can share openly, is Jamie got her feelings hurt pretty badly one time when somebody came up and said, you know, I really like your message, but I'm not going to go with you because I've never heard of you. And she was like, what? So, you know, that kind of hurt. So what we want to do is really hone that message. Yeah. And I don't know where that was, but you know, we're strong in pockets.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's, yes.
Okay, so Jamie, exercise. What is it that you do? So you're trying to find a black hole value proposition.
Right.
What are the components of things that you do? I got to write this bigger so people can see.
Clinical guidance,
Okay?
pharmacy negotiations, compliance assistance,
Okay?
quality assurance,
What do you do on the phone?
well,
Yeah.
I was building relationships, like, rapport, putting fires out.
Okay, so I'm just saying client support, and that's going to mean a whole bunch of those items. Okay? Okay. And I really think that similar, we're going to put a lot of stuff down, but really the black hole value proposition that you provide is all of these pieces done through this. Does that make sense? Is the pieces is the methodology. What's really exciting is the way in which your team cares and supports, right? Not processes, not negotiates. That's stuff we do. That's pretty easy. That's pretty blocking and tackling. I mean, it's tough. Like, I mean, yesterday, Paul, Chris, and I were on a call with a really big organization, right? And it's just almost like legal. Boom, 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 boom. You got to know what to say, how to negotiate that. Telling them, you know, we're spending too much money. Our hospices are spending too much money here at Walgreens when they can get it at CVS after hours for much less. I mean, a tenth of the price. We need a better price. I mean, that's not sexy. Our clients don't care about that. They're glad we do it. Okay?
But that's an expected
Right.
component.
But what are the pieces in all of these things that we do, the descriptors that make it real, that make it important to our clients? Let's just talk about client service support. Okay? Now this is going to work.
Everything we do, we try and tailor, like, to a role. Tailor to the client. Tailor our services to that individual client.
I hate using red. I don't want to use red. Brown. No one ever likes that. Okay. What were you saying? Everything you like to do, everything you do is tailored,
Yeah.
custom.
Yes.
Okay, well that goes for everything, right?
Kind of patient-centered, which would be the hospice side of it, or client-centered. Or hospice-centered.
I'm writing down employees here because we're kind of pretty employee crazy, aren't we? Okay. Okay, keep going. Jordan, how else would you describe us? Just talk openly.
Are we talk? So the first bubbles that we did.
Yeah, these are the things that we do. Okay? What are the things that we would use to describe emotional components of what we do?
So we're past the initial ones.
Yeah.
We're going in. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Something that I always think of is I feel like the uniqueness of how we build our relationships is way different
That's kind of our
We
superpower.
actually know everybody that
Yeah.
we work with. Yeah.
We have a superpower.
I would say, I mean, that's the one thing that makes us different than all of our competitors is we are all local to one hub.
We're not regional.
We don't have regions. We don't have salespeople. Every single person that's on staff knows all aspects of an account. We're not.
And the flow of it.
I mean, family. We're a family. We really are.
Yeah, family.
I would say trusted too.
Thanks for the word, Ian.
Thank you.
We're feeling that.
So we're looking at words for those out there where we're tailored solutions, custom. We're a family. We're trusted. We're client-centered. Focus on relationships. Passionate about what we do. Not corporate. We're very local, very personal. I mean, honest.
I was gonna say integrity.
And loyal.
Genuine,
Responsible with our money.
approachable, think within our
Like,
concept.
that's an important thing.
It is
You know,
important.
you can totally be getting your money taken right out from underneath you with a PBM that doesn't care about you as an organization.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can put that into one word.
You know, there's so many people like somebody yesterday in that call, they said, well, you have a transparent. And then Clayton said, your value proposition, you need to use transparency. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. Because transparency is an internal word within our industry. And the reality is everyone uses it and it's not the truth. The truth is transparency says, I screwed you, but I told you clearly in the contract. You needed to read the contract, you needed to be the expert, but I told you how I was going to get you, and I did. So we use pass-through pricing, and we don't use the word transparency. Because pass-through, it's the law of immaculate. You know, the law of immaculate where you say, and I learned this at the Outback Steakhouse when I was consulting them as a young guy. They have clean, very clean, really clean, but there is only one immaculate. And you, back then, when the Outback Steakhouse was a brand new chain, everybody wanted to go there because it was a brand new thing. And one of our stores in our group was Des Moines, okay? And so they had to clean it till it was immaculate before they left. I mean, immaculate was the standard. So when I hear the word transparency, I think of clean because there's levels of transparency. But if you're doing true pass-through pricing, there's only one true pass-through. Exactly what the pharmacy got paid is exactly what you charge the hospice. And there's no way to differentiate that. It's either true pass-through or it's not. But I can't put true pass-through right there.
No.
As a client, I would say you guys excel at accessibility.
I love that.
I mean, I have utilized you guys, I've called, I said, please, I need to do an in-service on that.
Oh, I love that.
Later, the pharmacist was on for our morning meeting to give us
Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah, I mean, I get to crying in these meetings.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Yeah.
Well, a little earlier.
I might take it over for you.
Okay, thank you. That was wonderful. So we've got some homework to do. We've got some incredible words right here that we believe are really important to us. Now, how do we put that in something that is very simple so that when we meet somebody, they say, you know, you guys are all the same, you PBMs. Well, no, we're not.
We've even considered
Not using them, yeah.
PBM.
Changing the entire industry,
Yeah.
trying the whole nomenclature say we're not a PBM. Because everything they do, I mean, we've done it.
Yeah, when we talk to hospices that they ask what we do, and I explain like, oh my gosh, that sounds great, and then they find out that we're a PBM, immediately it sours their taste because of the reputation of PBMs as a whole, not even just in the hospice industry, just as a whole with pharmacies. It has a negative connotation to it.
It only takes one time for you to get your shorts taken,
Yeah.
for you to sour on a PBM.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I would
Pharmacies
ever,
feel the same way.
you know, for us, I would never wanna go back to managing all the pharmacy contracts in-house. But it takes one time before then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, this just gives me angst to think about, you know.
Okay. Jamie, you've got some homework to do.
I know. Thanks for your help, guys, because that made it way easier.
Yeah, those are some really great words.
It does.
Should we do one for guiding light?
Yeah.
Let's call them out.
Yep.
Okay, let's go.
Figure the third month, maybe you guys better have some ideas.
What else?
Okay, now we're going to do one for Guiding Light. Okay, talk to me. Go, Jordan.
I have another question.
Go.
Does the black hole proposition need to be about what differentiates you or what appeals to your target audience?
The answer is both, yes. It's a differentiator that appeals to your audience. Okay? Like when we say, if we said Disney's is the most magical experience in the world, okay? Well, that differentiates them, but it also attracts the audience, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Good question.
Okay, it's a really good question. Okay, you guys.
Okay.
All right, what is it that you do beautifully, exceptionally well? We know, and I'll give you a little time. We know that you do care, and you got great processes, right? And you got great people. Okay, what else do you have?
We're compassionate.
Great compassion. Okay, but what is it that are the elements of the culture, the things that drive you, that make you happy, the things that are important to you on a daily basis? What are those things, really?
To see my staff content.
Okay, contented,
I feel
happy
like if
staff.
the staff is content, the care will be.
Okay, when you have a happy and contented staff, the care looks like what? Describe
The
it.
care is quality. The care is attention to detail.
Ah, I love that. Oops.
We are a team of service.
You have an experienced team. Whenever I came to visit you guys and I did the teaching, you already had a very experienced group of, you guys are not newbies.
No, they're.
Okay, experienced team.
We did have a few.
Attention
and,
detail.
they're evolved.
Yeah.
We've got ICU clinicians that are great at assessments, and now teaching them to turn off that fix it.
Yeah.
You know.
You guys also have a nice person answering the phone. I called everybody.
Yeah, did you?
Gabby, you spoke with Gabby.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
yeah,
Am I
so
not
she has an
in-
accent, a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, it was her.
I was saying, I think everybody who answers the phone.
Jordan said that you also have a really nice person that answers the phone, which was his earlier comment about how important it is to have somebody answer the phone at every hospice. That's wonderful.
One of the things about Gabby, I will tell you, is in her country, she is actually a physician.
Okay.
And she's working towards getting her boards here.
Ah. Where's she from?
Is it in
Honduras, okay.
Honduras, yes.
So
Yeah.
living in San Antonio, she is bilingual.
Yes.
She's gonna.
Bilingual and experienced and passionate, compassionate.
Compassionate and very medically knowledgeable.
Isn't compassionate a great word? But let's make it simpler. Let's make it simpler. The one thing I love is, gosh, it would be incredible because the attention to detail is something that is a driving factor of your hospice. Wouldn't it be cool if we could incorporate that in your black hole value proposition, that attention to detail is really the best thing for the patient and their family?
Yes. So
How do we merge those two items together?
So what we've done is we started this little pilot. We have someone that does caregiver support. Okay.
Okay.
And this is an individual who, yes, the social worker goes out and the chaplain goes out, the nurse is there. We focus on the caregiver as a whole, because if the caregiver is burned out, the patient is going to be neglected or may feel that, right?
So the caregiver support individual goes out 3 to 7 days. It's still in its infancy. We're still kind of thinking about it. She goes out and just assesses the situation if the family accepts. If it's taking the trash out, because I just went through this in November with my mom, and I was in a daze. Everybody was focused on my mom, and there were people that were focused on me, right? And the house was in disarray, you know, and nobody's really paying attention. But if somebody from our team goes in and says, you know, I think they've eaten, why can't we order them pizza? Why can't, if the caregiver we know loves Diet Coke, go get her a damn Diet Coke. We make money to be able to do that for the patients. And I get emotional about it because those things matter in the last 3 to 7 days. You know, and talking and paying attention to the little ones in the room is key to see how they're doing. You know, so that is important.
That's empathy.
Yes.
Are you committed to this?
Yes.
Are you driving it to every part of the process?
We, right now, because if Nita and I are still kind of holding on to our caregiver support because our social workers will want her everywhere, and we want to do it where it's impactful. The last 3 to 7 days only. The patient has to be on daily visits. That's where it's impactful. You know, yes, we all go in those last 3 to 7 days intense. Why not this extra person to look at the caregiver? You know, what is it that they need? What else can we do?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a tough question. So if we've got time 0, we've got, let's say we've got 30 days down to time 0, okay? And then in these last periods of days, this is the time where we're providing that level of attention to detail. But I would hate to say we're building a whole value proposition right based on that, when really I would imagine your attention to detail is in everything.
It's in everything, but the last 3 to 7 days is where we're going to put this individual.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But that individual is a representation of a whole philosophy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, because if we say life done beautifully, okay, the beautiful may be at the very end, but it was really a part of the whole process. Right. I mean, the intention was, let's make this a beautiful experience at every piece of it, right? So I can imagine something involving.
I like the word you used, committed. You asked her if she was committed. And she
Yeah.
said, yeah. That's a good word.
One of the words that we've been throwing around is where compassion meets service.
Just my opinion. Mm-hmm. I love the differentiator of saying passionate attention to detail. I mean, that is different. So you go to a provider and they say, what makes you different than anybody? A passionate attention to detail. They're like, okay. But when we use the word like service, there's such a variety of what that means. It's an arbitrary word. It's like faith. But if I say a passionate attention to detail, that is a cool thing.
Especially if you're hospice, because that could mean so.
It does. That means documentation, that means service, that means support, it means everything. Taking out the trash, those are examples of it. I mean, just as an example for this today, I mean, to say passionate attention to detail is really, it really has legs. I don't know if it's it, but it has legs because that's what you're passionate about. The attention to detail, and not everybody's doing it. You are.
We also offer palliative massage. Now, because of the pandemic, we stopped because, for obvious reasons, and we're looking at starting that back up again. So we have someone who is certified in palliative massage And that is driven by the of course, case managers on when to utilize that for patients. We've done it when patients are contracted. We teach the family how to do palliative massage in the home. You know, we're training them to do it for their loved one toward the at end of life. And
So you're giving me exceptional examples of your attention to detail. Okay, I'm gonna throw one out here. Let's go with even more care. Very good, but not even as lovely as the ones we've been coming up with. But it's good because it resonates with what they built their entire program on. Even more care than is required. So when he says, we're even more care, people say, what does that mean? Okay, glad you asked. And then you can document, you can back it up. There's a story. When you bring somebody in, you say, in even more care, you say, here's what we're going to do. We're going above and beyond. If the standard says X, we do X plus 2. If the standard says you got to have 3 visits in the last 7 days, we're going to do 7 visits in the last. And if we miss it, we're going to be upset about it. We're going to be 95% attended deaths. And that's not easy. But that's part of the culture. That's what makes them in their market have a black hole value proposition. Okay, Heart and Home is an example. They've got all these pieces, and it's as good as any that I've ever seen. Really. The education, the comp model, the proven training, 100% pass rate before they even get in the field. They've got a value proposition that says, we've trained the patient caregiver so well that if there's a snowstorm and we can't get there, it's okay. But they haven't figured out exactly how to say it yet. Okay, that's what's important. So in Life Done Beautifully, and I think this is just my opinion, but I think it's fantastic because it's exactly what you're doing. And every portion of that, whether it's documentation, process, communication, it's all going to be based on that life is beautiful. These people are beautiful. This is a beautiful organization. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's an end result. I love something like passionate attention to detail. It separates you from others. And then you build your model of all this excellence based on that. And you say to your employees, did that have the attention to detail that is part of what we do? No, it did not. You're right, it did not. Make it better. So I'm sorry, but your attention to detail is not part of our culture. We've been asking you the attention to every detail. We trained you on the details and you've responded with, I don't want to do that. So therefore you can't be with us anymore. I mean, it drives everything. I mean, you guys are working with Andrew and you're building these exceptional pieces. All we're trying to do is find one way to communicate it and back it up. Let everybody believe it.
That's something y'all said earlier. You're doing these wonderful things, but how do you
see, you're right at the doorstep of you've done all the work. Now step out in the sunshine and tell everybody. That's all I'm asking. Just jump out there and scream it at the top of your lungs. Life done beautifully. I mean, that's, I don't know, you may not do that, but I love it, so I'm crazy about it. And this one too, passionate attention to detail. If we could trim off the word "to," that'd be great, but we can't. So, but we'll play with that.
Jordan and I have a lot of homework.
You've got homework? Yes.
Well, the only thing I might say is you said that should be what people who we're serving care about.
Yeah, that's all.
The word detail to me feels very sterile and
Okay,
formal, so whatever
good.
Passionate attention to you.
Okay, she said detail sounds too clinical. What about passionate attention to you? Oh my gosh, do you like that?
Yes, write it out, please.
Boom! Booyah!
She says she's not creative.
Yeah.
Oh man, all right. Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, what is your hourly rate?
And the detail part is a part of it. Because it's really attention not to the house and the cleanliness, not the fact, but attention to you. You had a need. You had needed somebody to clean. You had a need. You were hungry. That's awesome.
You need the mic so you can drop
That's
it.
good.
And then you walk off. All right. Okay, the homework for everybody is to help PDC. Winner gets what? A big bouquet of cookies? Anything they want, right? I mean, you know what the budget is for stuff like this?
A teamed up building trip down to Price.
It's Paul Hagen. It can be anything.
Yes.
We kind of joke about what's your EAP budget? Nothing. And we would have no. What's your clothing allowance? Doesn't matter. Whatever Paul decides. Paul's like, yes, buy it for everybody. Buy it.
He
I'm
always
like,
says, whatever you think. Whatever you think.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Whatever you think.
okay.
Okay.
All right. This session is officially ended with success.